Okay, Workspaces Part 2. Now we're starting again with the same workspace that we had earlier, so let's click on Save. Notice here that I now have the ability to save the workspace or save as a separate workspace. So just to keep it easy, I'm going to click on Save. Notice the lack of staff. Now, within my system, I have the ability with multiple pages, but let's just say I want to modify the report. Now, with layout, I can do this in various ways. I can grab the header, the title, and move it like this. Okay? You notice how it quickly changes. Now, I also have the ability to select between, drag them across, and you can see here that the resizing takes place. There's also the ability to change the layout. Okay, so if I go across here, no, not to approvals, to layout, you can see here that the list here is based on the fact that I have 4 objects available. So if I wanted to keep it relatively equal amongst all of those, I could choose this, or I could alternatively, if I've got a nice big image and I wanted to place that down the bottom here, I could use that as well. So layout's quite key in order to be able to get it to display correctly. Now, within my workspaces, I have the concept of settings. Now, I've gone and given this the workspace title earlier of example video, but I can also give it a further description, which will also be used later for searching. So I could say here, used for training of QA. Now, one part that's quite useful for you, especially if you're doing any later load testing, because this is how I do it, is that I set an auto refresh interval in order to simulate user activity. Now I click on the drop down and I have various updates. Okay, so one of the things that's kind of good is that I can set it to update every 30 seconds, to update every minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and an hour. Now just be aware if you are doing the 30 minutes to an hour that the default setting for logging off the user is 30 minutes. So my suggestion is that if you're trying to simulate traffic, keep it at a minute. So I'm going to select a minute. I'm going to say that my workspace is associated with a tag, so I'm going to say that it's actually global. So I click on the G, I get the list, I click on L, get global. Now if I do GL again, I don't see global, I just see GL. Okay, so the tag list reduces as you type. So I'm going to click apply. So if I go back in there, my settings should be retained. I'm going to save this. Now, down the bottom of the screen, there is the little edit and present button. Okay, and this ties into what we saw earlier. Auto refresh interval every minute in present mode. Now, while I'm in edit mode, I can play with the various bits of functionality that are available in the system. So my restated balance sheet, I now have all these icons here and manage icons here. If I go into present mode, I get a lot cleaner interface. So I can see here, for example, that I don't have all the other kind of stuff around. I still have the concept of badges at the top because that's giving me feedback to other things happening in the system. Now, so in a few seconds, this will refresh. Now, while I'm waiting for that to occur, because it should just do it automatically, I'm going to click on the statistics down the bottom left. Now, the statistics give me the ability to see the underlying, well, basically how long this workspace takes to update, really. So I can see here that I have my trial balance for company 001 metrics, which is what this is based on. The underlying report took 7 seconds to load, 0.944 seconds to run, total time. Likewise, I've got my restated balance sheet, and to be honest, the text views and example are kind of based in the total page load time. Okay, now if anyone saw that underneath the hood, I'll just click on show details to kind of just take this a little bit further. You've got more information in here if you need it, but you might have noticed here that the report ran in the background. So now this is showing me a few moments ago, and what that will do is it will incrementally update just based on standard kind of refresh on the page until it hits another minute, and then it will update again. Now, one of the things is I might just show you this very quickly. I'm going to click on settings. I'm going to push this back up to about 10 minutes and click apply. and save it. Now, if I go back to the hub and click on Workspaces, you see how I have my workspace available to me. If I click on this, what you'll see is it'll load and automatically show the information. And that's because we have the concept of cached versus live data. Now, the refreshing of a workspace is very much tied to the setting. Okay, so the auto refresh interval. So if I had this in present mode, it will automatically refresh the report every 10 minutes. However, because of the way that the last time that the workspace was updated was only a minute ago, when the workspace is loaded, it will remain cached. Okay, that's why you didn't see this update. Okay, so let me show you what happens if I change this. I'm going to say my setting is 30 seconds instead of a minute. So 30 seconds is less than a minute ago. Yep. So let's just save that. Well, I actually don't have to save it. I click on Hub. I go to Workspaces and click that. Now what will happen is that the system will automatically, if you notice that, it ran the report. Okay, you might need to just jump back and see that if you didn't catch that. And that was because the system will run reports based on the setting interval. So if, for example, I've said this report needs to load every hour, and I haven't opened this report for 70 minutes, when it loads the report, it will automatically run. Sorry, when I load the workspace, it will automatically load all the reports. However, if I was to close down this workspace, go back to the hub and come back in 50 minutes, it would not load the reports. Okay? Now, the other thing that's quite useful, but what I might do is I'm just going to make this a very simple workspace by closing some of the views. So I'm just going to take it down to, so I've got my restated balance sheet, some text, and on my second page, I've got that, well, my other report anyway. Now over on the left, I have the ability, now that I've built up my example video workspace, what I might want to do is I might want to A, push it to a PDF so I've got it immortalized, or B, share it with someone. So let me click on Save PDF. What I get is a little pop-up. The PDF is generating and will begin to download shortly. Now, you don't see this, but underneath on the actual server, a little job is kicking off that is generating a PDF from the report. Now, to the end user, you don't see anything, so you just carry on until there's a later pop-up. What I can also do at this point, it'll pop up in a second, is I'm going to click on Send. I'm also going to use the concept of sharing. So I like my example video workspace, and I'm going to send that to Aaron. And I'm going to say, enjoy my workspace. I can also designate at the time whether or not I want to send my workspace, the one page, or the view. And that's generally because if I send the workspace, right now I know that I've got one workspace, but I could have sent him the page, which would be page 1. Alternatively, I could have sent the view, which would have been restated balance sheet. So you've got that kind of fine level of control there. So right now what will happen is that there will be a little notification that will be popping up on Aaron's system that will say that you've received the workspace from load test 60. Okay, I'm just going to wait now until the PDF comes through, which should hopefully be in a few seconds, depending on, of course, how stable PDF is at this point in time. The PDF currently has a few vulnerabilities in association with data. As does the refreshing of large data sets. Okay, I appear to be getting a few bugs today. When that pops up, I'll include that on the next video. Cheers. Bye.